Views from the friend zone, it's your time. We giving you real talk, so stay on your grind. We just trying to laugh and have a good time. We dropping them views so that all our people can shine. Views from the friend zone, it's your time. We giving you real talk, so stay on your grind. We just trying to laugh and have a good time. We dropping them views so that all our people can shine. Yeah. Welcome to another edition of Views from the Friend Zone podcast. It's your boy Real Talk Marv.
It's your boy Open Shirt Poppy. What up?
It's your boy Cliff Brockman.
Yes, happy Sunday. You know, it was weird, very, very bipolar weather. Cause you know, one day it was like 70 something. I'm like, thought season is coming. I had the NFL. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping to start to see the weather nice, and then the next day it was like 40. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, Mother Nature don't know if she want to be a thought or she still want to Netflix and chill. You know what I'm saying? This is
March. March is always like that. It's the most unpredictable month. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, happy birthday to my nieces, Tony and Kylie. Their birthday was last Sunday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, big girls.
Happy birthday to my oldest. Hers was the second, whatever that was. Yeah.
Happy birthday to your princess.
Yeah, so, and then, you know, also it's... Gotta give a moment of silence for it. Was a couple of deaths, anniversary of deaths this week. March 9th, we had the infamous passing of B.I.G. So
Biggie,
rest in peace, and B.I.G. March 12th was Craig Mack. You know, another.
I didn't even know Craig Mack died on March 12th. Yeah,
he died on March 12th. Obviously, it was a couple of years ago, not as far back as Biggie. And then, unfortunately, March 13th marks the 1 year anniversary of Tiana Taylor's death. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Sparked the whole Say Her Name, BLM movement. And then, you know, we also lost a legend last night, Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler, the boxer.
Had them hands.
So that was kind of sad, you know what I mean? So a moment of silence for all those we lost currently and in the past. It was kind of a tough week for March and stuff like that. But, you know, want to get into the show. We're going to talk, you know, so discuss the current things going on before we get into the topics of the show and stuff like that. One of the things we want to talk about is that stimulus check that got everybody going crazy. Moneybag Joe.
Stimmy.
The memes was crazy. You know, all the Joe Bidens with the grills, and he's like, "Yo, I'm setting y'all up." You know, making it rain and stuff like that. You know,
little baby was putting
unfortunately,
the chain around
we got some ballers in the room, so not everybody getting stimulated. You know what I'm saying? But what do y'all feel about the stimulus? The $1,400, is it enough? I mean, it's way more than that they gave prior. Because the first time was the $1,200 one. Then
$6.
Then they came back with the $6, and now they're on the $1,400. So what do y'all think about the stimulus?
Cliff, like, I ain't getting it. I don't care about it. Well, I would hope that, and I think it will do what it's intended to, generate money, generate the economy.
Yeah.
Because you know our people. We gonna put it right back
into
some random
the PS5s are restocked. PS5's gonna go through.
Louis store is ready. Like so
Fenty Savage, you know, lingerie, makeup, all that's gonna be lit up.
Amazon orders is flying out. So I mean, you know, I just hope it helps those who really struggling and needing it, you know, behind on bills.
Yeah.
And hopefully it can get them caught up. Personally, to the baby mamas, you should share it with your baby daddies. Get them a little something. Y'all made them kids together, so that stimmy should not be all your.
Yeah, that's the time when there's the real debate on who claiming the kids, who's gonna get.
Some of these baby mamas out here is selfish.
Not if you know, there's some baby fathers who are deadbeats who don't deserve any sniff of that. But you know, if you got a good dude, you know what I'm saying, he holds you down, he holds the kids down, he do the child support thing, he do the little extra. If you're in a position to be like, you know what, let's split this, you should split it. If not, you know what I'm saying, give him something. But I know we're all men, so ladies are gonna be like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
and it was funny memes about that, because you know the woman, well, the people who have the child are getting $1,400 a piece or on top of their own money. And there was memes talking about, woman, like, I'm effing up the money. I've been swallowing the stimulus things. You know what I'm saying?
Swallow the stimulus.
Yeah, so you guys are parents and stuff like that. What do you think about what Mike said, you know?
obviously we live in the situation or the perception that majority of the times women do have possession of the kids.
Yeah.
So what do you feel about the women who do have the kids and the baby father? You know, he do his thing. Should they bless him with partial lystemmy?
I mean, it all depends on the relationship of with the, you know, for the kid. You know, like some people can't. Some people strictly deal with just, all right, pay the child support, take care of the kid. They don't have that situation. So, I mean, if the person is struggling to pay child support in the first place, I think you should be like, you know what? Let me help them out. What you call it? Boom. We because it's not free money, but it's like it's kind of a handout for people. You know what I mean? So why not help out the situation to make that peace? Vice versa. Even if the man, because there's some men that got custody of the kids, right? Yeah. So anyway, I think, you know, you could just peaceful for the kids. If the money's gonna really take the money to invest in stock or
we always say that, but to be honest with you,
no, I'm saying
a lot of people don't have the
luxury of doing it.
Not even the luxury of doing it, because mindset. We and that's a whole nother topic. Like, we don't have the financial training, financial literacy. Like, good, we know to pay off our credit and stuff like that, and do certain things like that. But people, we get these. If it's different, if it's passive income, okay, you could steadily invest that. But when you get that $1,400 one shot, ain't nobody really thinking about investing like that, unless people are just, you know, already savvy about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's a start. Right now. You know, it's a start.
I'm buying Bitcoin.
See, that's what's up. Yeah, so I don't know. The stimulus thing is funny. Another thing, the funniest side of the stimulus, I've been seeing memes where people are just like, yo, they're going up to Red Lobster. Let me get some well. You know what I'm saying? Because the $1,400 direct deposit. Another person was like, I went to Panda Express, like, yo, I feel like trying some Panda today. You know what I mean? The exotic meat. But, you know, all in all, I do hope the stimulus does, like what you said, stimulates the economy. Yeah. It's also coming with the around the time that, you know, Texas and some of the other places are opening back up 100% capacity. Yeah. The Texas Rangers is about to have their first, like, you know, regular season game, baseball, and they're gonna have complete capacity, like not restricted. There's 40,000 people all in one spot, and then other leagues are like, we're gonna monitor to see how that plays out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's tough because I've been telling people, like, yo, I haven't sat down and ate in a restaurant, I think, once in the last 14 months.
Wow.
You must have been coming to Long Island.
No.
He comes.
I come to Long Island to go to a house. To go to somebody's house, either his house or my sister's house. I don't go sit in a restaurant or anything like that. So I know we got to open up eventually.
Red Crab.
I mean,
when I went to
even in Queens, I don't know if they keeping up with the regulations, because I went to Goodies the other day and it was packed like the club. I was like, is New York full?
Listen, once the weather breaks, I'm telling you, now that they got that vaccine,
I think some of the restaurants are just rolling the dice. Like, listen, we lost too much bread. Yeah. It is what it is. If we get the fine, I get the fine.
You can't continue to hold people back.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, like I said, the vaccine has people feeling a little more confident. The numbers kind of dipping a little bit. You can't hold people back, but for so long.
Yeah.
Like, I went to go pick up pizza for my wife the other day. I went into the pizzeria, and, like, the people sitting down and eating, like, nobody was wearing masks, and the people who weren't eating, standing around them weren't wearing masks, and I'm just like, yo, they're starting to lax that standard. At first, my wife was just like, they're eating, they're not going to have masks on, but it's just like, it wasn't even like people had the off mask, like, you know, people, you know what I'm saying? It was like people sitting around talking, no mask in sight, not even the people sitting and eating.
Whatchamacallit, not every place is like that. I went bowling last night, in the bowling alley I went to, what was it called? Henrik's? Whatever. It was off a hillside, something like it was on hillside, whatever. Yeah. They was mad strict. They had the things between each lanes, the plastic joints, and they was like, you got to have your mask on at all times, unless you're eating or drinking. And they was like, yeah, you can't really walk around anywhere within the bowling alley.
You gotta stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally stay in your lane.
Yeah,
right?
but that's good though. I mean, some
places was like really worried about like being fined, or they said he was like, the people come around all the time, you know, like checking and stuff.
I mean, we're not out the woods yet when it comes to Corona. You know what I'm saying? We're still averaging about 1,000 to 1,400 deaths a day.
Bro, I'm in Atlanta, man. What Corona? Corona don't live out here.
Yeah.
That's
Atlanta,
crazy.
they just wild. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on? Why are they not affected out there?
No, they're affected. I just think that, you know, it's like, let's keep it a buck. Corona makes 70% of the time, Corona just gets you sick, like a flu.
Mm-hmm.
There's the smaller percentage where people who have compromised immune systems, where they really feel that they can't breathe and things of that nature. And you can have a compromised immune system and still just, like Cliff was saying earlier, it affects everybody differently. So people just like, oh, I'm just going to get that Rona, I'm going to sweat it off and then go back. You know what I'm saying?
Get that Rona.
I don't know. Until God, I hope God blesses us and the strains don't get crazier. We just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like hard head make a soft ass. You know what I'm saying? So another thing I want to talk about before we get into the meat of our show is Kurt Franklin last night. Video leaked of him cursing his son out, and people are kind of like going at him. He told his son, "I'll whoop your ass" and things of that nature. And people are just like, "Cause he a holy man, he shouldn't talk to his kid like that." First of all, his kid leaked the video. So you snitching on your parents, I blame that when you have money, and sometimes your kids feel entitled. That's why it's tough. Like, you know, I don't have any children.
How old is that kid?
You guys have children? His kid's not even like a teenager. His kid's like a young 20-something-year-old kid or something like that. Anyway, how y'all feel? Because y'all parents, I'm not a parent. I can only speak from a certain perspective. Where it's just like, you know, kids do stuff like leak conversation their parents had to social media and stuff like that to make them look like bad people. I feel like that's privilege shit.
Yeah.
Because we grew up with, go ahead, call the cops. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, you didn't want to expose your people to that.
You better
business.
pack your bag. You better pack your bag when the cops come too.
My mother offered that child services number anytime I wanted it.
Yeah.
You want to call? Go ahead. I give you the number.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
Help
what do
you
you
pack your bag.
I think it's twofold, right? People are saying because he's a holy person, you know. But my thing is, in the privacy of your home, everybody talks spicy and things of that nature, and you know, you a parent, you still allowed to like have authority over your child and give them discipline.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, at the end of the day, the son leaking that's
my beef.
That was very immature, and then he knows his father's a brand, right? So
beat him.
For him to leak it, that means he really didn't care about his father at the time, about what it could do to the household and also his father's career, because he is a godly man. He's a gospel singer who's very respected. You know, he got the Sunday show. What's the show called on BET?
You know me, I don't watch.
Huh? No, it's a Sunday show where they define the talent. The singer show. He got a bunch of streams of, you know, but he needs the income and all that. So that could hurt his brand big time with that, you know. But the kid, honestly, I guess was mad and didn't think about it. But at the end of the day, it just sound privilege.
Well, I don't know what he was expecting to accomplish.
I don't know at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, because you a person of the Lord and you in the church, you don't curse? Like, you got to be kidding me, because
everybody gets upset. Yeah, everybody gets upset.
You know,
that doesn't mean you don't believe in God or certain things. Everybody get upset, and it's in his own home, so it is what it is. So,
last, I guess, you know, current news I want to discuss before. It was controversy in the NBA. A white player, Miles Leonard, got in trouble because while he was live streaming a video game, he called one of the players he was going against a Jewish slur, and
was it with a K?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go over that first. I want to lead the story first and then go into that, and then have us elaborate on that. So he called him a Jewish slur, and then it was kind of stir. Two things that sparked my mind about it was, so he called the guy the Jewish slur, and then he said he used the word. He didn't really know the use of the word. He apologized, and I was livid. I was like, oh, that's an excuse. Another sidebar. Another reason I was kind of bothered by Myers Leonard is because he was the same dude, the only person on the Miami Heat who didn't kneel in the bubble, right? And then the whole NBA did a special on him.
Sense.
His brother's a soldier, and that's why he didn't believe, even though he really camaraderie amongst, you know, his black brothers who are going through the, you know, the persecution that we face from police enforcement. He didn't kneel. They did a whole special, and then now a couple months later, he's calling people Jewish slurs on live stream, right?
Yeah.
So at first I was just like, oh, what a hypocrite, this and the other. And then I was like, so what did he actually call this guy? And the term, you know, I'm not using it lightly. I'm using it just, you know, to advance the conversation we're having. He referred to the guy as a kike, K-I-K-E, which is a Jewish slur. Okay, I'm glad you said that because I'm going to be 40 next year. And I've never heard.
You never heard that?
I've never heard a kite. Let me.
I don't know exactly what it means.
No cap.
But I know it's.
I've heard it used before, like in passing, like, you know, you hear noise and stuff like that. But, you know, I didn't know of it as if like everyday vernacular kind of thing. I say that to say that some people is just like, oh, it's like someone calling someone the N-word and things of that nature. And I hate to like disparage and be like, you know, my racism was worse than your racism. But come on, you can't equate kike to the N-word. You know what I'm saying? Because of the persecution and the
What was used.
the way the N-word has been used. Like, if you
What's
did
the history of that word?
it's just disparaging words towards a Jewish person.
That's it. Okay.
But to me,
was the person he going against, was he Jewish or what's the big deal? Like, I don't know.
I don't want to say what's the big deal because it's just like you're a public figure, right? You're a public figure, and you know you get caught cursing someone out using a bad word and things of that nature, and it's just like I don't condone him using the kite word and stuff like that. What I do kind of condone is just that, you know, keep the energy the same. We shouldn't be using disparaging words per people and things of that nature. I kind of always hate how, you know, people try to piggyback the persecution of African Americans and say this is what they're doing to African Americans, and then they kind of like, you know, downplay what's happening to us and try to equate somebody else's plight. Mm-hmm. And this is gonna lead us to our main topic, but just like, you know, like I feel bad for the persecution of the Asian community that's been happening lately because of and I blame Trump, and I told myself I'm not going to be too political anymore. I'm not going to keep bringing up Trump because how Trump kind of pushed to the forefront the Chinese flu, the Asian flu, and there's been backlash now because, you know, there's been attacking a lot of Asian people, older Asian people and communities, things of that nature. And then people are saying that, you know, it's just as bad as what they're doing to the African American community. And I'm just like, I have sympathy for the Asian community, but you can't say it's just as bad. It's just as wrong, but don't say it's just as bad because it's not as fluent. It's not as rampant. Like, I think America has this thing where it's just like we kind of ignore our history and then we get new things to focus on and we say it's just as bad, or we kind of downplay what we've been doing for so long to give the new problem on the block more attention. Like, there's public service announcements about the you know, the persecution of Asian people and how this crime needs to stop. And I'm just like, yo, where's the PSAs about all the crime, you know, against black people because of their race? Like, even now, they're trying to equate BLM to terrorists. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep down that rabbit hole, but it's
I can't really explain it per se, but we've always been seen as lesser than. Mm-hmm. Right, so there wouldn't be such a uproar, you know. Even going to what's the player's name, Miles Leonard? Yeah. Even with the Miles Leonard situation, right? It wouldn't have been such an uproar. But I know, isn't the GM? No, not GM. That's Pat Riley.
The owner
is Jewish. Yeah, I don't think he's playing for the team anymore.
But you know the crazy thing about it is? They fined him $50,000 and suspended him for a week that he's injured, so he's not losing the game checks. Because the game checks would have been another $350 that he.
That's got to be awkward though.
Yeah,
in the building.
Yeah,
but
like any chance they get to trade him, he's gone. And then when you go to the new team, who really wants to? I mean, he just recently signed a deal, so his money's good for the next 3 years.
He's not even that good.
Huh? What did he sign to do?
Like decent money, like 3 year 40.
Oh, for him, that's
nothing to
great.
sneeze
No,
at.
that's
He's not-
great.
he's not
He wasn't doing nothing above before the ball. He was doing good.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's not even that. He's not worth the headache. But
So this would lead us to our main topic, or the actual topics of the show, cancel culture, right? And it's a good segue to it because we're rushing. Okay, I thought you was gonna sneeze my way. We're rushing to cancel, and sometimes it's valid and sometimes it's not, right? And I just thought of something, man. I want to give credit to the person on my timeline who posted, but I can't think of her name. But one of my Facebook friends pointed out, and this is a sidebar, but how America said that there's no money or there's no way to financially be able to give reparations, which was thought to have been a $1 trillion plan, an idea to give reparations to African American people and things of that nature. But we pulled the $1.9 trillion deal just now.
oh, and this is what I forgot to mention when we talking about STEMI. Of that deal, the 1.9 trillion, the stimulus that's going out to everybody, the 1,400, only counts for 8% of it. Only 8% of all that money is coming back to the American people.
Yeah. A
The
lot of
rest-
it's these other programs.
MTA is supposed to get like $1 billion. What do they need $1 billion for? MTA make me sick. They've been making money the whole time.
Well,
train's still messed up. You could die on the train. Like, at least make it safer.
Which, they haven't been eating like that because people rode the train less. But people still rode the train during the whole pandemic, things of that nature.
Bus is still screwed up.
Yeah, but it's a lot of
Money going out the country too.
Yeah, so
It's
tough. But it was interesting to say about because the money of reparations will be going back to people of color. It's like, whoa, we can't do that. There's money for that. But there's always money for wars and things of that nature.
All they need to do is watch the Dave Chappelle show and that skit he did when they actually paid out reparations and how the money just flooded right back into the economy.
With Escalades and spinning rims. I remember that.
But this is the thing. I don't even think it's so much the money. It's the big issue with that. America doesn't want to admit they're wrong. And by paying reparations, you are basically saying these people were done wrong. The country is flawed.
Just admit to guilt.
We really effed up. You know what I mean? That's what it's all. It's not
America
the money.
Sends money,
please.
For Holocaust
money to
burn.
Annually, right?
Annually. We had nothing to do with that. Anyway, I don't want to get too political. Let's go to cancel culture, right? So, cancel culture. They're going back and revisiting everything politically incorrect, but it seems not to address slavery and its impact. When will white America cancel white supremacy? Right? Because another thing that made me think of the cancel culture is Dr. Seuss. They went back to cancel a couple of his books. Had some Asian drawings with the racist eye kind of thing, connotation, stuff like that.
They want to cancel Pepe Le Pew because he's mulatto.
I was going to say, no, Pepe Le Pew, because he's very rapey, though. Let's keep it a buck. I did a video about that, too.
Him and that cat actually fell in love later on.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's pictures of them booed up with the hearts, and she was feeling it.
But they said that she was drugged, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, Pepe Le Pew had a little Cosby in him.
But they won't cancel Bugs, who Bugs has been known to be a little extra also, kissing Elmer Fudd. You know what I mean? He kissed a lot of people without their approval. Bugs be getting aggressive.
Another one is Mr. Potato Head. They want him to be just Potato Head, not a him or her. And I'm like, it's in the name, Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, like, somebody said these gender reveal parties were offensive too or something.
Someone said that a gender reveal is transphobic.
Transphobic, yeah, that's what it is.
Well, why is it transphobic?
Because you're celebrating the fact that someone's either a man or a woman or a boy or a girl, and they haven't decided yet.
They haven't been born yet, but they haven't decided.
So now
anyone who knows me know I'm very open-hearted, right? Like I even get teased sometimes for being too much of a gay sympathist, but because to me, I just don't like people being persecuted for who they are. Like to me, it's stupid. Like me, like growing up as a kid, I got teased a lot for being a big person. I'm still a big person, and it's just like, I get it. You know, I'm a big person. Everybody's a big person. Things of that nature. Sometimes the level of how people will tease you is just like, dog. Why does that bother you? It's my burden to carry. But people would go out of their way to be, you know, almost upset at me. Like one time I was talking to this girl in college, and she was like, one of my male friends just can't stand you. And I'm just like, she told me who it was, and I was just like, I don't even talk to this dude. I know him because I was kind of popular. He was kind of popular. So, you know, popular people on campuses, everybody go around you. So we both was popular. So I knew him. He knew me. He's just like, yeah, every time he sees you, he's like, oh, he can't stand my fat ass. I'm like, why? He's just like, he just don't like the way you look. And I'm like, my G, why does it bother you so much? But anyway, so to get back to the whole gender reveal thing, I get it. People should be allowed to, you know, if you're a man, born a man, and you want to be a woman, you should be allowed things of that nature. I get that. But come on, let's not go back and rewrite biology and to say that we not born either a boy or a girl. Okay, sometimes people feel like God made the wrong decision. I should have been a woman, but he made me a man, vice versa. That's your road to carry. But let's not go back and infiltrate the little kids' minds that it's wrong to recognize that they were born a man or born a woman. That's a part of the whole cancer culture. Oh, I read something else. A woman said that the fact that a dude wanted her to send nudes, and when she was a woman, but not when she decided to identify as a man, makes him homophobic. And it was just like, I'm like, I'm confused.
They're going too far.
Because he
but you
liked
know what
you when you were a woman. He don't want no parts of you identifying as a man. He's not homophobic.
And
you just not his cup of tea ananymore. And it's getting crazy.
It's social media. Social media got a big part of what's going on with that too. Like, because they like social media seem like everything's okay. Like, you know, like he's saying, basic. You can't say somebody born already. Well, why is gender reveal a big deal? Having gender reveal parties a big deal. Why is it?
I'm not a fan
deal?
of them anyway, but it's not because of that.
No,
I just think it's.
I'm just saying
not necessary.
I always think it's because it to me it's a change from, you know, the back in the days you kept it a secret until you was comfortable for everyone to know.
But
now you're celebrating.
Now you got the Bruce Jenners who get the Anderson Cooper Award, where for coming out at 70 years old. Basically, it was
he got an award, or she got an award.
She got the Anderson Cooper Award. On CNN, a big award, and they had people that lost their leg. There's like people that really went.
But they get
it's a courage award.
Oh, but listen,
I'm not trying.
Hold on.
I'll let him finish.
This is what I'm trying to say. Listen, I have nothing against gay people, nothing against transgender or of any cause, right? But what I'm saying is, you giving this man who's 70 years old an award for what? When there's people that
woman, you giving that woman.
Okay, you giving that woman an award for what? Well, there's people that went through real life situations. For this country.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I understand where you're coming from with that, but the bigger picture of that award for her, I have to catch myself, right, is the courage, right? Because it's not necessarily the fact that he came out and did that. It's being able to provide a lane, a platform for other people to comfortably do behind it.
Oh, okay.
But it's a totally different type of courage, so to speak, than say a veteran who lived their life and lost their
there was veterans, and I think.
What about frontline workers who continue to work through the pandemic and lose their lives?
He beat out two people that served the country that you know that had
because he's a celebrity,
and I was just like, wow, like, but that's all.
Was this voted on by the people?
Was it voted on by the people? I think it is.
And there's a lot of people that's believe that's more correct.
Yeah, so I mean, with the cancel culture, you got to be careful. Like even in work emails, some people in my signature in my company has I fully support him, her, I, she, like the non-binary, addressing things of that nature. When you're pinging someone, like in communicator and things of that nature, you have to say, "Oh, is your manager around? Is he or she?" Like you have to be careful.
Oh my God!
Like for instance,
this is gonna when this trickles down into the school system, because that sounds like a class. I heard about the whole thing, the binary and him.
Yeah, pretty soon you're
I
gonna
can't
be able to have a
recall-
conversation.
Yeah,
Come on, this
I
is
gotta
ridiculous.
ask you what you identify as before
Yeah,
we
it's
start
ridiculous.
to
Come on.
I don't know, bro.
I had a conversation. It was somebody, a manager in Brazil, and the person name was Gene something, and I was just like, well, when he or she gets back, please let me know so we can communicate. And the guy laughed. He's just like, Gene's a he. I'm like, first of all, I can't make that assumption. My father's name is Gene, and he's a guy, and I know Gene. And I said, look, Jean Grey from X-Men. Jean Grey spelled the same way as my father's name. She was a woman. He laughed about it because he was more of a person. But you gotta be careful about those kind of things. But to me, the out of control is to say someone is a gender reveal is transphobic. So, and then a crazy thing is,
Yeah, that's like saying if you don't want to go to a gay club, you're homophobic. What?
that's not what I identify
You know what I'm saying?
as.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
want
not going to be comfortable around that. So why would I want to go to that kind of environment? That has nothing to be being homophobic.
There's a difference between inclusion and being hateful, right? Because inclusion means that everybody should have equal opportunities, and that's the thing that gets lost sometimes with BLM, right? Because when it comes to BLM and people saying Black Lives Matter, people try to say that, oh, it's going against inclusion because all lives matter. It's like, no, all lives are not being persecuted. Right? Let's not be that simplistic in our thinking. And just like gender reveals is not saying only boys mean something, only women mean something. We're celebrating, we bring in a new life into this world, and it's a boy, and we want celebration to it. I agree with you though with the gender reveal, because to me it's just like, yo, we having too many parties.
Just an excuse to have a party.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so that's the, and I know when you don't have a kid, you just sound like the bitter person outside of the club who can't get
No,
in.
it don't have nothing about
But-
having a kid, but it just,
But gender
it
reveal is
just another
another
party,
party.
another gathering to see
What
what
happened?
the sex
I
is.
must say this is the closest I came to a gender reveal. When my first son was being born, well, when she was pregnant with him, I was overseas. I was deployed at the time, so we was doing a video chat, and her friends had put together these like little boards, and they wrote on them little messages to reveal to me the sex of the baby.
Yeah.
So that was it. You know, they just showed each board until they got to the end.
I actually had a gender reveal
That's it.
party.
Yeah, I remember.
You had
Yeah.
a gender reveal for
I
your
couldn't
daughter?
make it,
Yeah,
but I
I
remember
had
the
a-
clip
I had
from
a
his
gender
video.
reveal
Almost got him in
because-
trouble.
Because I wanted a boy, and then my reaction was crazy on the video.
But he loved his
Wow,
little
my-
girl. He's
no.
a dad girl now.
I
But you
know,
know,
man.
Of course.
but you know,
That's
we
my heart.
and it's not that men ever are disappointed that they have a girl and stuff like that. When you have a child, especially, you know, like Cliff is heavy into sports. Cliff is a former athlete. In your mind, you're thinking, all the things that I learned that didn't go right and things of that nature, I know better now. I can instill my son to go to do things that I may have not been able to do. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Isn't it? And then when you get a girl, you're just like, yo, I want to love and protect this little girl as much as I can.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But to get back to the cancel culture thing, I just feel like, and it sums up all that we're talking about. We're trying to cancel things sometimes that don't make sense, and the things that we do need to cancel, like, you know, police brutality, white supremacy, discrimination because of sex, discrimination because of color, discrimination because of, you know, physical
People
ailments.
want to fight against that. So
People
much.
want to fight against that.
They don't want to.
But then you go out of your way to like lose your shit because, oh, Dr. Seuss should be able to continue to be a staple. No, America, if we continue to just say, you know what, that was the past, it's okay, well, we're gonna repeat it. We're gonna allow certain things to be okay. My thing is, and we so we so pick and choose when we like, oh, just let it be. Like, for instance, nobody was just trying to let it be when we found out that Cosby was roofing chicks' drinks back in the 70s and 80s, and we found this out in 2010.
Yeah.
That's 30 years ago. Why we wasn't like, yo, just let it rock? No.
He tried to go after ABC. I mean, was it ABC?
NBC.
NBC, and that's
Nah,
when all the rain
we
came.
didn't keep that same energy.
That we're influenced, and the outrage that people feel for certain things is all influenced.
Yeah.
It's influenced by media. It's influenced by those in positions of power who want it to be a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never was one to really watch the news. I watch it a little bit here and there just to see the weather or sports, and then you might come across like a real story or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't watch the news on a regular basis because honestly, it's not what you think it is. It's not just straight. They're reporting the facts of what happened here and
they're
here.
reporting what's
There is-
interesting.
and they're trying to influence
Yeah.
people's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you're able to have so many different media outlets, and people watch different stations because each station is sharing kind of a different ideology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
catering to a certain
A
audience.
base. They have a certain base.
Yeah, and they're influencing whatever the belief that they want out there.
Yeah.
You know, along with reporting the stories. But we could report the same story, but if you report it a certain way to where you're more sympathetic with the culprit, and I report it a way where I'm more sympathetic with the victim, now people are going to have different opinions on the same exact story.
Yeah.
So that's how media affects and influences society's thinking these days.
No,
So
you're
it's
right,
like,
100%.
you know what I mean?
It's crazy, right? Because with cancel culture, like, people want to cancel, certain things. Like, for instance, there's a hard-on for some people to, like, really have BLM. I keep coming back to it because BLM is being treated so in the space of, like, this is a terrorist group. They're doing terrorist activities, things of that nature.
Well, look at you. Saw Judas and the Black Messiah, right?
I didn't yet.
I seen
I'm
it.
ashamed
It's
of
a
myself.
beautiful
God!
It's a great movie.
Well, I'm gonna have to do a spoiler for you real quick.
With the Black Panther cut. Go ahead.
Yes, exactly. That's what
Yeah,
I'm talking
it's a
about. There was a
beautiful
part
movie.
in there where they showed the meeting. I believe it was CIA or FBI.
CIA.
CIA briefing meeting they were having with all the agents, and I think it was Hoover up there
Yeah, J.
speaking.
Edgar Hoover had said
But
black.
he was speaking about how much of a threat the black, not even, it was the Black Panthers at that time, but he was saying how much of a threat it was black people unifying
Yeah.
together.
Because
You know what I mean?
Because the
And-
blood that we have on our hands as Americans, like, for instance, that's what it kills me when people. I'm not even gonna just call out, but people from a certain yield ilk say, like, oh, black people are so violent. Black people this that, and the other. Just think about it. If we all of a sudden said, you know what was done to us, we're gonna do onto others, and keep that same energy.
It'd
It would
be real
be,
violent.
it'd be a scary place, but
Be
that's
real
not
violent.
happening.
Nope. We are not a violent people.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what's crazy. But yeah, it's just like, we've never as a country kept that energy towards the Ku Klux Klan. Just think about that.
Yeah. That supposedly the FBI and stuff like that has, cases and files on the Klan, but do they give it the same dedication? Are they putting moles in the Ku Klux Klan like they did the Black Panther Party?
No.
They're not doing that.
Because-
Like it's crazy, but the movie The Black Klansman, that was based on true events.
Yeah.
Right? It took a black man to try to take down the Ku Klux Klan, while you have majority of the law enforcement are white, but it's not a priority to them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all don't care about one entity, but you really can't have the other. And I don't understand how people just can't see, like,
It's only really a crime of concern when the victim looks a certain way.
yes.
Right? Like, think about it. The war against drugs was a black problem for a long time. So the answer was just throw motherfuckers in jail. Throw people in jail. You know what I'm saying? But
give them football numbers.
But when opioids came through and started really affecting the white community,
it's a mental health issue.
Now the war on drugs is a mental health issue. We need to have
help.
medical programs to help people. And then now the resolution for that problem is put money into it, not into the police enforcement, but more so the helping, the healing of these victims. And don't get it twisted. I think people with opioid problems need the help.
Yeah.
But people with crack problems needed that same help too.
It's just, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? So let's move to another portion of the cancel culture, right? Because another person who's fighting being canceled is our dear, well, not mine because I live in Jersey, but y'all dear Governor Cuomo. And you know, Cuomo was the dude during the pandemic.
He pissed somebody off.
His updates to me was more meaningful than Trump's updates any day.
Oh yeah.
of course.
I used to wait till like 12 noon. Cuomo was about to drop some, updates and stuff like that. And at the time, early in the pandemic, we didn't really know what COVID was, right? Because I don't revisit this history. Remember when COVID, February, March and stuff like that, you was having coworkers die. Yeah. Dudes that you said was healthy, you spoke to 2 weeks ago, and they was dying from COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not like you could see COVID coming. It's not like, AIDS and things of that nature or the epidemics we had before. It's sort of like, damn, if you wear a condom, even though people don't like condoms like that, that's another conversation, you could protect yourself from it. But COVID was just like, what do I really do? Because in the beginning, we learned about masks, but masks was kind of later into the game.
But you never, even before COVID or anything like that, don't you know you used to see Asian people all the time just wearing masks for no reason?
Because of the swine flu. They've been
wearing masks for a minute.
Yeah, on
not all of them, but a lot of them.
Train stations, that's how they move. They was ahead of the curve as far as the masks.
And we used to be looking at them like,
weird.
Why you got that mask
And
on?
now when I see somebody with a mask, without a mask, I'm looking at them like, yo, who the fuck you think you are?
Yo, what you trying to do to me? And like,
what man is this? You committing a crime right now.
It's crazy.
But anyway, Cuomo is now being forced to cancel. And when the first person accused Cuomo, I was like, oh man, that's Trump. Trump's like, yo, y'all want to get rid of me? Y'all gonna make me the bad guy? Trump was coming through to drop people. Then the second person came and I was just like, now it's up to 7.
And that's the bull. I understand one gives the other courage, but really now y'all all want to come out. None of y'all wanted to say nothing for years. Or whenever this was taking place. Yeah. But now y'all all want to come out? Come on. And the stuff that they described wasn't even really sexual.
It's tough, right? That's why I always...
You can't say it wasn't really because you don't know what the intentions are,
I'm just going by the descriptions they've given.
We were supposed to have 2 different women guests that unfortunately weren't able to make it, and it always kind of not bothers me, but it always makes the conversation to me... One-sided when we don't have a woman that can combat some of our ideas. You know what I'm saying? Because, to be honest with you, like you were trying to say, or what you're trying to say, sexual harassment comes into many different forms.
You know
what I'm saying?
You know what?
Sometimes men get sexually harassed.
Hold on. It is not, but we really should have had a woman guest.
You know what?
It's not sexual harassment just because the person flirting with you or coming on to you, you don't like. Because if it was somebody you did like, they could be doing the same thing.
Hold on.
I always feel that way. As a big dude, I always joke with my dudes. Like, sometimes I'll be in the club, right? And one of my dudes in school, he's so aggressive. He'd grab a woman, his hands would be on her butt, this, that, and the other. Like, a woman he don't know.
Like Pepe Le Pew.
And they'll laugh at that. And I'm like, yo, my dude, if I did that, they'd be calling security, I'm getting locked up. Because... And not to downplay sexual harassment, but a big component of sex harassment is what they consider unwanted advances. If you look like Morris Chestnut, sometimes your advancements are unwanted, but we get a slide. But if you look like Flavor Flav, a lot of the time, and no disrespect to Flavor, but you don't look like Morris Chestnut.
Flavor Flav.
A lot of times, that same attention is not wanted and is considered a violation. the levels of sexual harassment differ.
Yeah.
Especially when you look a certain way.
True.
But that doesn't downplay it.
I don't think it's right because it's like.
It's not that it's not right. That's
I'm trying to see what I can compare.
Sexual harassment comes in many different forms. If you tell somebody, your coworkers you work with, you got a nice body, right? You just said you just got a nice body, whatever. So boom, every day you're like, oh, you got nice lips. You got every day you give her a compliment, something or so boom, and then she doesn't say nothing about it. That's still considered sexual harassment.
No. See, that's the thing, and that's the thing.
She
has to say something.
Don't say no.
Hold on. You can't be up there. You can't be up there keeping a record.
Hold on.
But every time it's said to you, you smile or you say, "Okay, thank
let
you."
Me finish.
If you don't say, "Listen,
Mike, let me finish,
please."
Mike, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. So, like I said, you say, "Oh, you tell her you got a nice body," and she's like. She doesn't say nothing. Right? She keep doing her work.
I would
the
never.
Next day, hold on, but that happens all the time, especially in the environment I work in. Right? So these comments happen. But I'm saying, like, you got nice lips. She doesn't say nothing. Whatever. So boom. Next thing you know, on that Friday, you get a call to HR like, this is what's been going on, and she's been documenting all these compliments you've been giving her. So boom, that's sexual harassment. Listen, they can terminate you off that, or if she got hardcore evidence like that. Just because listen, at the end of the day, she's not responding to it because she feels uncomfortable. I'm a big dude, right? So if she responds the wrong way and I take it the wrong way, it could go left too.
Yeah.
So that's why she's like, okay, let me just do it that, and that's how you get the call. So you got to be very careful how you approach the situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said sexual harassment coming in very different forms.
You walking into my next question.
Me and you don't think it's sexual harassment because we're like. It's not big. If a girl tell you, yo, oh, you sexy or whatever, too, boom, you got a nice butt. Oh, Cliff, you got nice arms. Oh, you got nice whatever, this, boom. And then I document whatever, too, and I send it to HR or whatever, too. They're going to take it into consideration. They're like, what's going on here?
The only reason I don't consider
being sensitive.
Only reason I don't consider sexual harassment in that regard is because if you do not let it be known, at some point or at all, that
why do I have to talk
this is inappropriate?
But why do I have to have a conversation with you when the body language you're sending me, I'm already afraid?
Yeah.
That's why you got to be careful. You understand what I'm saying?
No, you hit the nail on the head.
You understand what I'm saying to you? Why do I have to say something to you when your body language let me? I'm already afraid because I don't know what's next with you. You keep complimenting me every day and I'm not responding. So now I'm taking the next step so I don't have to have this conversation with you.
Let me jump in.
You understand? That's why I say it comes in different forms.
Let me jump in to say that. That's why I agree with you 100%, and I understand where you're coming from. But that's why men have to understand, right? Because the fact that men and women were not physically equal. You know what I'm saying? Men have more strength. Men, in most situations, right? If a woman comes to you and she's saying things you don't like, and you just blowing it off, and then one day she responds by kind of attacking you, you're gonna be able to 9 out of 10 times hold up like, yo, what are you doing? That's not what I want and stuff like that. If it becomes too late for a woman and a man does that to her, she could become raped. She could get hurt badly. So you're telling
me it's more of a physical thing? Or
no.
A fear of it going physical?
It's a fear of it because it's just like a woman don't have as much ways to protect themselves in those situations as men do.
Well, see, let's get back to the beginning. With Cuomo's situation, it might have been more intimidating because of his position.
That's the next question right. I'm going to.
So you can't flirt down. You got to flirt on your level or up. But my thing is, once again, I don't know. Just like a female could just say something off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, one of those compliments or something, and she don't even mean anything by it. Yeah. But you're like, oh, I'm offended. She knows I'm married, or why would she say that? Mm-hmm. And you take note of it. And then later on, but you didn't say nothing to her. So later on, another time, she says something else along those lines, right? Yeah. Now you got note of her saying these things, though she don't even mean nothing like that. She's not even trying to get at you, anything like that. But because you're not sure why she's saying these things, and you're somewhat affected by it, now you can go and make a complaint about her and say she's, inappropriate, but you never said anything to her. That's my problem. You never said. All you have to do one time, a female, whatever, just be like, that makes me a little uncomfortable. Now, if it continues, they're not going to bust you upside your head because you said it makes it. You know what I'm saying?
You don't know. Look like a square.
Well, who cares? If you so
no, but I'm saying that's the double standard. I'm agreeing with you. Sometimes there's a double standard of it.
Yeah.
Another thing.
At least give that first warning before
but let
you
me
go
tell
reporting.
you how crazy the cancel culture is. Like, to be honest with you, you just did it twice in your conversation. Saying female is considered disrespectful in a lot of circles because female is a term used to identify a non-male version of something. A female pig, a female dog. So you have to say woman or man. I'm telling you,
you have to say woman or man?
Yes. Because female is a derogatory term when you're talking about a human being.
You are filling out the application or something else for whatever. It does not say man, woman. It says
how
what's
the
your
cancel
sex.
culture is evolving.
So
I'm telling you how the cancel culture is evolving.
Then they're going to have to change all of this stuff in these applications and everything like that. Because if I'm not mistaken, it still says gender.
More
male,
updated
female.
ones on men or women.
Or other.
Other two.
That's offensive.
But because
what the hell you mean I'm
had conversations with women that I say female, they cringe and they get upset at me because female could be used for a cow, pig, dog. It doesn't have to. Right. But that's the culture we're in. But let me move on. The reason why I brought up the Cuomo thing.
America's going to hell in a handbasket. That's what I'm
saying. The reason Cuomo thing is Cuomo's
crazy,
fighting to not get canceled. But now even the Democrats are saying, like, Cuomo, we need you to resign. It's getting too crazy. Which moves me on to the next question about cancel culture. Do you think it's smart to even randomly shoot your shot in the DMs in this age of receipts? And let me tell you why. Because unwanted attention, especially when you're from a position of power, is one of the biggest ways to get you in trouble. For instance, Cuomo, these assistants saying he's making jokes and things of that nature. When you're in a position of power, you don't even have room to do this, especially since Me Too, where people are really not to say that Me Too is not relevant. It is relevant because it gave power to people who were being, chastised or sexually harassed to say, no, I don't want this to happen. But now, as a CEO, a governor, a public figure, someone who has some kind of authority, some kind of, reputation, does it even make sense to even, I don't want to say, holler down, right, at someone below you? Because, people are equal. But when you're in a position of power, does it even make sense to, even spit at someone, you work with that you might be of a higher ranking, higher salary, higher position? Because the problem is...
It's not worth it.
The problem is that, like you said, at work in certain environments, you can't make observations like that.
No,
it's not worth
100%.
Right? To be honest with you, I'm married, so I always never even left ambiguous talk because people be like, "You're married," and then when you say certain things, it's just like, "He's a sleaze bucket. He's married. How could you say that kind of thing?" So I always, even at work, I can
shout out to Bend the Trend, where it allows you to be you.
Oh, definitely.
But yo, have they canceled the Little Rascals? Because I'm about to join the He-Man woman hating club. Because if anything,
no ma'am.
Yeah. Imagine Married with Children on now. Like, people would be so offended by the way Al treated Peg or the things that was said. It's like if I can't even say we went backwards, because backwards back in the day it was bad. When this stuff needed to be a priority, it really wasn't. It was just accepted. Like, as far as how men acted towards women, the sexual advances or whatever. And this is the thing, and this is what pisses me off the most. Going back to what we was discussing.
Yeah.
A woman can use that to her advantage to advance.
Of course.
100%.
If she manipulates it right. And they have. So it's like, how you going to be upset about something and then where others have used it to further their career, but you want to, you know what I mean, take it as, oh, I'm making a complaint or such. I'm just, man, you don't want to get me started because I don't want to seem like the male chauvinist.
No,
sexist.
That's
how I'm going to come off. Whenever
that's why it's tough
that's how I'm
when
gonna
you
come
don't
off.
have a woman representative to kind of like combat some of the things we're saying. It just become men sitting around being men kind of thing. The reason why I said the DMs kind of thing, because it's just like, until you know someone, shooting your shot is random, right? In your head, you see someone, they look good, you like, you know, I want to give kind of, you know, take a chance to shoot my shot kind of thing. But like you said earlier, it depends how you look. If Chris Brown jumps in your GMs and talks spicy, you're impressed.
It becomes a problem after you've let it be known you're not interested or this is too much. But you have to let it be known.
The
initial cannot.
Yes, it can. That's the problem.
All right, so I think I got a lawsuit or something against all these females on IG and my DM sending
women.
I'm
trying to train you guys.
Emotional creatures.
God, what if God bless us and we become this huge platform, and then they're just like, yo, I want to cancel Open Shirt Poppy
because he was saying female.
Yeah.
So women. You
just said that some people are saying it's homophobic to have gender reveals. You don't think calling women females is going to be an issue?
Women sending me invites or wanting me to follow them with sexually sexually stimulating pictures. Yeah. I don't know them from a can of paint, but they want me to follow them and all of this stuff. And then they're saying hi like they know me. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Telling me about themselves. Like, come on now. I don't eat. What with the feet? I don't even know what the hell to say. The women, what they have to do is they have to get together and figure out what's the fight, because you got half of the women on one side of the aisle and the other half on the other. The other half is very promiscuous and sexual and fine with the men being sleaze buckets and trying to get at them, and they use it to their benefits. Then you got the other women who probably aren't as.
You see? Don't even say it.
You have the other women who have a different opinion.
You sound a caveman.
And they're offended by everything a man says.
Yeah. So let me say this, right? Because me and Clifford, I guess we're all not in a position to just randomly, you know, reach out to a woman. Like, to me, we live in the age of receipts, right? And then I'm not a public figure. Maybe, like I was trying to say earlier, then we lost track. Maybe God might bless us. We become this huge platform, and all of a sudden we go from, you know, 3 black dudes who are podcasters to now we're public figures, right? So not everything that you say is considered crazy or stuff like that. There's 2 things. You have to make observation with the whole being clear, right? I always say like this: if you was anything you about to say in those kind of settings, work, or, you know, any situation where it could be considered like a professional thing. One, would you be comfortable if a random person said that to your daughter, your wife, your sister, or your mother? If you could say, yeah, it wouldn't bother me, cool. Another thing is, what value does it add to what you're there for? For instance, you at work and you say, oh man, you got pretty eyes. How does that help your job? If it doesn't help your job, then don't say it. Don't do it.
It makes her feel good and makes her a more productive worker. No. She's happy now, and she will get that work done.
You building confidence.
You're building confidence. A confident worker is a more productive worker. Do you not?
No, now, let me tell you.
You want a mambo? Mambo, I love mambo. Yeah, what you call it? I hear what you're saying with your mom, your wife, your daughter, whatever. Yeah. Hey, it depends what's being said. I wouldn't be a problem if somebody said, oh, my daughter, oh, you got beautiful eyes. Now, if they say, oh, you got some juicy lips, that's what's
much. Next. And according to you, if she don't pop off when he said she has nice eyes, then she's allowing the rest to come.
It's not popping off, my brother. It's not popping off. But she needs to say something to the effect of that comment is unwarranted, or can you please not say things like that to me because I feel it's a bit much. She has to say something.
Yeah, but let me tell you what that turns around to also in the corporate.
If you gotta lose a job because of it, then you gotta lose a job. You can't stand.
You know how hard it is to get certain jobs?
No. This is the problem. It's always, she don't want to say nothing because of this, or she don't want to say nothing because of that. But if you want to stand firm now, all those women coming at Cuomo now, right, probably have moved on and not working in that environment anymore, but they probably moved up and benefited from working under him at some point in time, right? So they sucked it up at that time because they were trying to advance. So I can deal with it now. I can deal with it then because I'm looking out for me. I'm trying to advance, and I don't want to fuck up my advancement, right? But now that I no longer need him, he's useless to me. I've worked that position and moved on. Now I want to go at him for saying them things to me because I'm outraged. Well, if you were fucking outraged then, you should have said something then. You can't be outraged now for what happened then, but kept your mouth shut then.
Yeah, because
fuck out of here.
It wasn't a say.
Stop it.
No, Mike.
It wasn't a say. What, he gonna slap the shit out of you?
No.
Because you say something in his position, he gonna risk that?
Mike.
Come on, man.
I work in investment banking.
They
right?
bullshit.
Investment banking jobs is very, very hard to get. Very hard to get. It's not like I lose my job today and then tomorrow I'm gonna get the same job of equal pay and stuff like that. If I'm lucky, I am.
If you lose your job for speaking up about something that's offensive like this, you got a lawsuit on your hands. There are ways. Don't tell me that, I'm gonna lose my job. I have no way. I gotta take it now.
No, it's not.
I gotta take it now.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
It's a lawsuit.
As it's easy for you to say that as a man, that you just have to step up and things of that nature. The corporate world is set up. It's a man-dominated world. A woman who jumps off too easy to dismiss. What you said is inappropriate. Now, especially for black women, because black women already had the stigmatism that they're tough to deal with, that they're standoffish. Bruh. So hear me out. The first time she say that, now all of a sudden, don't mess with Christina. She doesn't know how to joke. So now you have that stigmatism. Now when there's projects and things that can get Christina the light, they're not going to pick to work with her. So now Christina has to bust her ass 5 times harder to just move up a little bit because she's considered not friendly, not funny. Already off the bat, when you look like us, you get that stigmatism. But now because the boss said you had nice eyes and you flipped on it, I'm not sitting there saying that women have to sit there and accept sexual harassment. But like women really got a way. Like, yo.
Let's talk about that because you said that look like us. So we're going to take the sex out of it, right? Mm-hmm. You work in that industry, right? Yeah. Say one of your supervisors or whatever, throwing some off-color jokes out there, right? That's offensive to you.
I've had that already happen.
And you just, what do you do?
You check them.
Whoa!
You check.
Whoa! You might lose your job.
No, you check.
You might lose your job, bro. That's dangerous.
So come.
You check them.
Let me. You know what? I jumped your statement. Let me let you finish your statement, and then I'll respond.
Yeah. What I'm trying to get at is basically, it makes you uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. People laughed. All right. He made that joke, but you were offended by it, right? You were offended, just like that female was offended that that woman was offended by the guy coming.
We black brothers, we got to make each other better.
That woman, right. Mm-hmm. Okay. She was offended by that. Mm-hmm. But she was worried if she spoke up, it could affect her career-wise, right?
I had a manager joke about the Mike Brown situation. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, you know how they are and stuff like that. I was like, we don't know the situation. We live in crazy times. It happens over there, it happens over here too. And he felt like, damn. He didn't know I heard that he said that, right? Because he was talking to another person, mm-hmm. and I was there. And now, the reason why I said I checked him, I wasn't aggressive towards him. I let him know that I heard his statement. I moved it to a place where it's just like, you know what? We just living in times, kind of stuff like that. Will he say that again? Sure, he's gonna make sure the room is clear, and then he's not gonna subject me to that. But it's
my
still gonna
point
be
is,
fair.
why can't they say something? What is the difference?
It's completely different because at the same time, right? I can't. There's not that many ways to misinterpret what he just said around me. Like you just said, oh, he just said she has pretty eyes. To keep it safe, to just say, oh, he's just being friendly and stuff like that. Sometimes you raise a suspicion, and it's not enough to go by. Women have to really gauge how much is really, like you said, how much is really being said, kind of things of that nature. I was able to check him in a way that was non-aggressive, but at the same time let him know that I was not comfortable with that, and that's not something he should do.
But that's all I'm saying they have to do. I'm not comfortable with those kind of compliments. Thank you, but let's not do that. Simple stuff, bro.
And I hate to be sexist, right?
But if that person, if that person's a man of power, right? Mm-hmm. And the woman the man of power is giving that lady the compliment, or vice versa, right? It could be a man, and vice versa, right? You're not gonna be so quick to be like, I'm so comfortable with her. So you might just take your mental notes and take your notes of what day he said and what time he said it, whatever, too, because the follow up with HR is gonna be totally different. I ain't gotta worry about now, and what you call HR gonna handle it now. Because if I retaliate like, oh. And one day I was like, oh, thank you so much, whatever. So boom, you're going to look at it as like, well, on Tuesday, we had a full-blown conversation and I said you had a nice body and all this stuff. So sometimes when people don't respond and you give them compliments in that kind of manner, you gotta be very careful because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
This is my thing. The outrage got to be consistent.
You can't say that. You can't say the outrage got to be consistent.
Yeah, it can't be.
At the end of the day,
wait.
It's like
that's what these girls coming out the woodwork.
It's like a girl saying that you touched the ass, right? You touched the ass, but you said, yo, I didn't touch your ass, really. I grazed you. It can't, you know what I mean? You can't. Listen, to her, you touch the ass because you keep grazing it every day at a certain spot.
The consistency says something else. Yeah.
Listen. You keep grazing the ass. You keep grazing the ass. But to your mind, you're like, I just graze Paso every so often, whatever. Too. What's the problem with that? You can't say what affects a person when it comes to sexual harassment or how aggressive they need to be. Some people are not gonna have no conversation with you. If you say something inappropriate or make them feel uncomfortable, sometimes you get your answer by the person not saying nothing to you. You're like, oh snap! Yeah, this went left.
Or you don't even have to say something to that person. Like you said, there's HR, there's usually in most corporations other avenues you can go, and you can speak to somebody, but just to get another opinion, like you said, if you're not sure, be like, my supervisor such and such, he's always giving me compliments, he's talking about my eyes, my waist, my, always physical attributes. So I'm not really sure why he's doing this, but it does make me feel uncomfortable. Sell it to somebody so then they can take a note, right? So at least you got the ball rolling. Because if I'm in that position, I'm going to say, okay, well, how did you respond to that?
Yeah, but
did you smile? Did you
giggle? It's a good old buddies network. Nah, you're teetering on victim blaming right now. I'm gonna rule you in.
Because I think
now you say the way you dress, you deserved it. You deserved for it. That's the road you're going down.
Yeah,
I'm of the Dave Chappelle mindset. Listen, man, if you dress like a cop, if I come to you asking for help, am I wrong?
Now, on a serious note, you just got to be careful with the compliments and how you approach, especially in that kind of environment, especially in a work environment. Like the whole thing that's going on with Chromo, I don't know exactly. We don't know the full details of the story. We just know people coming out with it too. Sometimes people are just so scared because that person is powerful.
And first of all, it's multiple people. No, so that means he was sharing the wealth.
No, what I'm saying.
How are you upset?
No,
you
what
didn't
I'm
just
saying
attack you.
Sometimes people are so powerful. Like, my brothers and sisters, they got high positions at their job, whatever, too. And there's probably certain things that if my brother said to a woman, whatever, she's like, you know what? I can't really talk to him about it, like say something with it, because he has a big position. So some people are just scared, so they won't say nothing. So they gather the information enough where it's the point it was like, you know what, and they detail it. Every day you've said it, so now when they present,
sounds like a setup.
So no.
That sounds like a setup.
So now when they bring it to HR, it's not a setup. It's gathering information to say at
Make
this
your
time,
case.
at this time, 4:10, he said I had a nice ass. On Friday at 2:36, he said I had a nice breast and it was looking curvy. They gathered it. Sometimes they gather the information and then they present it to HR, and HR is like, listen.
No, but
This is what's going on. You understand? Oh, whatever, vice versa. This is just examples.
know,
but
I
as
know,
men,
I'm just
saying,
saying,
as men,
you
we
got to be very
as men,
careful.
we have to learn to not foster the kind of environments that we're acting this kind of way, and
Yes,
for
yes.
people to feel uncomfortable. But to bring it back to the question that I asked is the like, even though it's on a lighter situation, right? Because we're talking professional environment. Now I'm talking about in the DMs, right? Does it make sense to, because we live in the day and age of social media, right? Nowadays, people hardly ask for your phone number. People try to say, "Yo, you on IG? You on Snapchat? You on TikTok? What's your name? You on Facebook?" Let me.
I'm listening.
So that they could message you and things of that nature, because sometimes people don't want to give out their phone number, this and the other. But my thing is, because of the day and age of receipts and like being canceled for some of the things that you say, Clifford had told me like, "Yo, Maul, you like to joke around. Don't even make those comments on people's pictures and stuff like that, because you never know what time they're on
I
that
have
day."
told him before. I'm like, listen, and I know his intentions. I know with my brother that what is serious, whatever. But I'm like, listen, you got to be careful. We got a platform now, so somebody might take it as, "Oh, this is how you moving," and
What are you
then
talking about?
he didn't
Commenting on
just
Make a
comment on somebody's page.
Somebody pay somebody's
Because-
picture, like, "Oh, girl, you looking good," and stuff like
You
that.
know?
And another thing you also got to recognize is, and what we said earlier, right? I think I'm an okay looking dude, but someone might put me in the Flavor Flav lane and don't want to hear that shit from me, but might want to hear Mike or Cliff say that shit and just think it's cool. So you got to be careful. But my thing about it is, because we live in the age of the receipts and clout chasing,
Yeah.
do you think it's even safe to randomly, like, it's one thing if you guys were talking and then you take it to the DM and now you have to be a little bit more, but that random just shoot your shot DM, do you think it's safe, especially in 2021, to just randomly, shoot your shot in the DMs?
I don't think it's safe until you know the person, right? And if you had a rapport with the person, like where you was out and you had a conversation with the person, and then you didn't really get the conversation you wanted, and you wanted to continue it, then shooting a DM is different. But if you just randomly just shooting DMs and just following up with inappropriate stuff, then it could be a situation. But if you have a rapport with the person and you shoot a DM, whatever, too, I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, because it's just a level of communication. Some people,
I'm talking about the random.
No,
that establishes is a little more comfortable.
Like you said, nobody talks on the phone anymore because the communication is lacking. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to ask you how's your day. On text message or DM, whatever, you could be the person. You could be free. You could have that confidence.
Time to think about something witty.
You could have that confidence you won't have on that phone with the person. So random, should you just do it to random people? I don't think it's a great idea. That's just my opinion. But if you had a rapport with somebody, like, even if it was like one or two conversations and then you shot your shot, I think
it's okay. It's
the
okay
randoms?
for the simple fact that I know multiple people who've had success with online dating, online relationships.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. When you go to these sites,
Clifford kind of met his wife, on social media through friends of friends.
Yeah, friends of friends. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's no difference really than meeting somebody online, maybe an online dating site. The only thing that is different is that if they're on that site, it's established that they're looking for some type of relationship. If you just jumping into a DM on Facebook or IG, they may not necessarily be looking.
Yeah.
But you just taking a shot at it. So I'm like, and that's the thing. Once again, you can take the shot You just have to be very conservative in what you say. You can't be talking about, yeah, girl, what's up? My name is Joe. I want to give you this dick. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you look like you tired. Got somewhere you could sit. You know what I mean? Like random
like
crazy.
you gotta be.
But that's how some people game is though.
But that ain't game. that ain't game, and that will get you in trouble, right? So it's all about, I think, how you come at it. But you can shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying?
To me, I to you know, kind of agree with what y'all saying. The random shooting your shot, I don't know, especially if you're in a certain position. You got to tread lightly. Them DMs, there's magic in the DMs, and there's also pending cases in them DMs too. You got to choose and pick your
The
approach.
celebrities all the time are shooting into these IG models and stuff DMs. They're doing it all the time. They comment on something. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But so that works for you when you have a certain online presence, a certain online clout. You know what I'm saying? Like you randomly shooting your shot at women. Like nowadays, a lot of women love to post receipts. A lot of women love to say, "Look how thirsty this dude was." You don't even be thirsty. You just be like, "Yo, I seen your picture. You look cool. I'd like to get to know you. What's good?" Oh, mad thirsty.
They do that when they feel like the person is somebody important. You understand? Or like they're gonna get a reaction from the public. So shooting your shot on a DM, you could shoot your shot on a DM, but keep it simple. Don't go too crazy with it. Like Mike said, like don't go too crazy with it where you want to just
start off with a dick pic.
No, you don't start off with any dick pics or anything sexual, whatever. Start off with something, you know. Hey, what's up? What's going on? I seen some of your pictures or whatever. I'm not telling you exactly what to do, but you know, it's just showing that you're interested. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And if the person still put it up there, oh, he was interested. So what? Yeah, I was trying to talk to you. I think you're attractive. What's wrong with that?
But we live in that.
Yeah,
do anything for clout, like Cardi B and Offset song.
But you know what? You know what it is. It's the whole social media. Like, people on social media now for validation, right? Like, everybody got caught up in it. Even at one point, I think more now in my 30s, I don't really care what the next man thinks of me. I don't. Like, you know, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm handling my business. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter to me if you think Cliff is cool or not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In my 20s, I fell into the trap where I was doing this, doing that, trying to show it up. I know my situation. I know I'm doing pretty okay. I'm taking care of my family. I'm providing a good system for myself and all that. And that's what I care about. Social media right now makes you feel like you got to live a life that you're not living. Yeah. So shooting a DM and all that, whatever, too, it's okay if you keep it appropriate. If you're doing,
excited about the number of people following,
like it's so scary. It's so scary.
Currency,
it's
right?
so scary.
It's addicting. What another it said?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They said that whatchamacallit? No, it's just I can't remember the
like
saying.
Sometimes means
it's
dollars to some people.
It's like a drug right now. The attention.
Yeah,
attention.
Like little Boosie, somebody who's a millionaire is like, yo, I'll give $100,000 if I get back on Instagram. I get it. That's his platform. How he makes some of his money, but it's like
he said that. I know he got kicked off because
I'll give $100,000. What I got? I'll give $200,000. What I got to do? Like he was begging Instagram to let him back on because of the whole situation, but I get it because he makes money off Instagram and stuff. But what I'm saying is like, listen, dude, you've been a street dude all your life. You gonna figure it out.
If you want
to, but you understand? People feel like
that's part of his business stuff.
No, I'm saying that's part of what I'm saying. Want another one? No, I'm good. But people feel like social media is the only way to go about things. But the DM thing, it's okay to shoot your shot on your DM. I think
because we're coming down in time, and I want to touch on the subject. Let me ask this question. With the cancel culture, does it make any sense to talk to a person you have perceived power or financial advantage over, right? Like, you know, someone may be under you kind of work kind of situation, or like a intern or a volunteer. To me, I'm not in the game, right? Like I joke, I'm a coach anymore. If I was coaching, I'm like, yo, it don't make any sense. Like nowadays for men, like I get it. It's kind of women. You'd be like, yo, I need a dude of a certain level, or I can't mess with them. And we always kind of be like, yo, she a gold digger and stuff like that. But men, if you have a certain stature, you have to make sure that you kind of highlight a woman that not only just not see you as a dollar sign, but you could protect yourself from not being considered like, yo, he used his power to make me do this. Like, I only did that because, he was influential and he could have kind of messed with my career.
I mean,
so do you kind of have to spit at your level, for lack of better words?
I think it's better to spit at your level because the relationship might be a little better because nobody's competing with each other. You don't got to downplay like, okay, I make more money than you, this and that. Like, yeah, equal level. And y'all goals could be better in terms of a long-term relationship where if you're trying to have kids or just trying to be financially stable. But you know how it is with guys. Like, a bad chick could be working at McDonald's. If she's stimulating your mind and she's doing the little things like cooking, cleaning.
She's stimulating your mind working at McDonald's.
No, I'm not talking
That's
about.
wrong, but it's true.
I'm talking about if a bad chick, she works at McDonald's. She could be the manager at McDonald's. She could be the store. She could be the store owner at McDonald's, whatever. So she could be making it in a different way. We don't really care about, as long as she's doing certain things that you like and care about, whatever too. As a real man, you feel like I'm gonna get to it regardless. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna try to build it to be better too. Yeah. You understand? We are willing to take the chance with somebody who work at McDonald's or Burger King. Some of these females, not to be sexist, they ain't trying. Some of these women, they're not trying to.
This is Women's Month.
Yeah,
it's Women's Month.
Yeah,
we gotta be better, especially for this month.
100%, it is Women's Month. They're not really trying to upgrade the dude at Burger King or McDonald's, whatever. Too boom. So, like I said, it is okay to. It's nothing wrong with trying to date somebody at your level, right? Because I think it's less headaches when it comes to that. Because you're like, all right, you really get to know the person because you're like, she ain't really on me for the money like that because she makes just as much as me.
No, but he's saying below your level, right?
You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying his advice is to date someone on your level because of that. I'm saying, is it okay? What's your opinion?
Well, this is something that I learned in the military.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't even follow it in the military.
But ranks, right?
Yeah. Well, officers, people who you got to salute, they're not supposed to fraternize with enlisted.
Yeah.
That are people who are not officers, right? So, essentially, they're saying that if you're an officer and you get involved with somebody, it should be an officer of your rank or higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? You can't associate with a subordinate or enlisted personnel.
Because it's a power play, too.
Yeah. Exactly. You can use that to your advantage to go further in your career.
I can see.
But let me tell you, it's done all the time.
No,
yeah,
but both ways.
It's
Not
done all the
necessarily
time.
just the power to use it for your advantage, but also you might feel like, yo, my staff sergeant, I don't know the ranks. I'm just throwing it out there. My staff sergeant said he thinks I look good and things of that nature. If I don't give him some box, he's going to make my life miserable. And now all of a sudden you had the power play where your power is being used against them.
Yeah. So that's what they teach us, and that's what they encourage. I feel like it's a dangerous game, and if you're in the same industry with someone and they're at a lower level than you, you definitely have to be careful how you approach that.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't say you got to be completely against it, but my thing is I don't like to, what they say, shit where I eat, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really like to do that. So I don't really deal.
You know what is
but
crazy?
That's around the most.
Most people do it.
Deal with people they work
because
with.
It's
you spend so much time around them.
So much
Spend
time,
and it's just like, especially like
the environment
at Clifford. They work crazy hours. They're working doubles and stuff like
8
that.
to 16 hours a day.
And
Sometimes
that's how the development of work wives and work husbands kind of happen.
Sometimes just being that is why it happens is because you are captain or whatever. You're a CS. I do mental health, whatever. CS is like a high position, whatever too. But you see a person like me, whatever too. I might be good conversation, whatever too. Boom. You're not looking at the financial thing. We spend so much time together. You just start liking me because I bring enjoyment of conversation to you. Sometimes it don't got to do nothing with money. That's that's the scary part of whatever too. So
you can't really predict who you might have a chemistry with or bond with.
But you know what it is? It's sometimes the person at the lower level has the best conversation because they're just free. somebody in your status, right?
They're not really-
They're
wanna
gonna
flex
They
with you.
wanna tell you why they're great. Somebody who's not who's at the job whatever too, just be like, listen, this is what I'm trying to do, and you like, damn, you feel
respect that.
you respect that, and also you feel good. You're like, damn, because you remember when you was at that position, and that's how you become attracted
And
to
like
that
you
person.
said, the lack of competition,
You know what I mean?
the
So-
lack of feeling.
Yeah,
threat.
so it's a very difficult situation. My thing is,
But when you got to think about this, and I agree with everything you were saying.
yeah,
But you, unfortunately, before you make that decision to go in on that, you got to be like, if this goes wrong, you still
You
got to
know,
see. I got
but
to see
you
this
know,
person every day.
like,
They're gonna be there.
That's
You
why
know
I
what I'm
don't believe
saying?
it. Like you said, shitting where I eat kind of stuff.
like
that.
I'm married and stuff whatever too, but even at the stage I'm in at now, the growth of me and my wife, like we're at the same level right now financially, right? But it was steps. But you know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to say, you know what? All right,
Which I
I'm
never
cool with the
worked
steps.
together.
Yeah, we never worked together.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
All right, so let me. So that's the end of the cancel culture because we have a limited time. I want to be able to touch this next
Okay.
subject, which is kind of an interesting subject, and it's called biracial love. What made me first initially think about it, you know,
I used to love the
Haitian,
white
I'm
girls.
married to a Puerto Rican woman, and that's to me that's not really biracial, but you know our complexions are completely. I'm like really dark. She's like really fair skinned, so she could pass off like Italian white kind of thing like that. So people would probably see us as a biracial couple. But to me, a Haitian and a Puerto Rican, we like we a couple miles away, kind of island wise. So, but anyway, the reason what made me really think about it is Meghan Markle and how different people are receiving Meghan Markle. Some people are just like, we gotta fight for our black sister. Some people like, she look kind of white and she only date white people, so we're gonna give her to the white side. I know that sounds mean, but that's just something that some people kind of feel. So it
Okay.
made me start to think about the effects that biracial love have in our community, in this world, and how we see people, and also just about how cultural identities happen, right? So the first question is biracial love just mixing the beautiful colors of the world or a threat to our existing cultures, right? Because it's just like,
Both.
okay, but I'm going to want you to elaborate, but let me make this point. Like, for instance, you have biracial kids, right? Especially some of these athletes, right? Some of these athletes, their father was an athlete, they married a white woman, this and the other, now you got mixed kids. And then now sometimes these kids, they have torn identities, right? Because the athletic side sometimes makes, you know, them relate to the African American people, but a lot of times, you know, their influences from their mothers sometimes is
The
white-
neighborhoods they live in
They
make
live-
them
live
relate
in.
to the other
Yeah.
side.
to the
Yeah.
other side.
Yeah.
So now they're mixed, right? Because now it's just like maybe when they play ball, they get relations with, you know, the inner community and stuff like that. But outside, you know, they may just only date white women, and we're chastising them. But his mom was a white woman, right? Sometimes you date someone
That's
you
true.
could relate to. So, but my question is, because they're torn, like, you know, is it just making the world beautiful? Or are we diluting cultures and things of that nature? But I feel like with any generation, every time we move forward, culture, what we define as a culture changes. So I don't think it's necessarily the melts cultures or diluted. It changes culture. But what do you said both?
Yeah, because the culture, not the culture, because the culture is the culture. The culture won't change,
Yeah.
but the demographic waters are diluted.
I was just thinking demographics. Yeah.
They're diluted because now you have people who depends on how they want to identify, because they are both white or black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can't just. They always want to put us in a box, but now I can check multiple boxes.
Yeah.
So you know the and then it's always the same. You got any black in you, that's what they're gonna put you as demographically.
Of course.
You know what I hate about
Right?
that though sometimes? When you do something bad, they kind of sometimes cast you to the African American side. But like when you do something positive in the light, they want to always remind you, hey,
He's half white.
he's half white.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like Barack Obama, even though he's considered black and stuff like that, they always try to say, he speaks so well, he's so intelligent. His mother was white. They follow up with that to let you know that, quote unquote, that white influence is probably what led him to his prominence, not his African father.
So yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. It is advancing. Like I honestly thought by, I guess we got another 9 years, because I said this back in the day. By the year like 2030, you can't really say somebody is this or that, because everybody's going to be mixed. There's going to be something in you from another ethnicity or another culture. You know what I mean? Because your parents, I mean, you still have some now, but it ain't going to be, yeah, I'm straight, black, you go back, my grandfather, my grandma, you know what I mean? Or I'm all white. It's always been white this, white that. Nah, people are dating outside their race now. Yeah. People are dating outside their culture now.
But to be honest with you, that's part of the reason that's causing a lot of the hostility have. That's part of the thinking of MAGA, Make America Great Again, right? Because some people can't lose the sight of seeing that, man, we have African American president. Now we have a vice president who's African American and Indian. So you see the cultures melting, but then it's making certain people feel uncomfortable. Like I'm losing my quote unquote position of dominance in this country. We always have the racism as, oh, go back to your country, you're taking my jobs and this. Listen, people can't take jobs from you that you're not willing to take and qualify. There's a difference between you losing your job, because some of the jobs they said they're still in our jobs, God didn't want these jobs.
No.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No parts of
so what do you think about that, Clifford? Do you think the biracial love is just making the world more diverse and mixing cultures, or is it kind of taking away from established cultures?
I don't think it's taken away from established cultures, right? I mean, I just feel like now it's being recognized more with social media, right? Like if you know what I mean, before it was biracial dating was an issue, but now with social media it's like, oh, you know this person's married to a white girl, you know what I'm saying? Like with the athletes, right? As soon as the athlete becomes successful, they're like, oh damn, he got a white woman. You know, they want to cancel him with the African American community, which is wrong, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you cannot do that, because at the end of the day, this athlete might have just really been like, you know what, this white girl was there for me at the time that I needed her. It had nothing to do with what race she was, whatever. So boom, and that's what's going on. Social media bring it more to light. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Let me add on to what you're saying, because I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes you see an athlete, like watching Tiger Woods. You knew Tiger Woods wasn't gonna marry a black woman, right? Not to be mean, but when he married a white woman, you wasn't shocked. But a lot of times, also with these athletes, especially basketball players and these football players, a lot of them are not going to Alcorn State, Norfolk State, making it. They're going to University of Alabama,
Penn State,
LSU, Penn State, where it has a large white population. USC. And then, you know, as athletes, sometimes you meet different people when you go to these different places, not like when you stay in your hood. But another thing also is that, you know, it goes both sides, right? Because, like, you know, I used to be on Dr. Umar when he first came out. I was a Dr. Umar fan. I thought he was preaching the word. But even Dr. Umar, he wouldn't mess with me because my wife is not a black woman. So anything that I say is invalid. I've had conversations on how I think black women are beautiful, things of nature, and then people, I don't hide who I'm married to, so they'll see pictures of me on Facebook with my Puerto Rican wife, and they'll be like, oh, that's his wife? Then I don't believe what he be saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's just the ignorant side of people, because at the end of the day,
in some circles, in my opinion, is canceled because I'm not with a black woman.
You know
what I'm saying? So, to me, I don't think like you guys are saying, we're expanding the culture. But at the same time, some people feel like, you know, like, for instance, I'm a Haitian American. My mother and father was born in Haiti. I was born here. So I have more American culture than Haitian culture, but I still abide to my Haitian culture. I love it. I live by it. I have standards from it and stuff like that. But it evolves, you know. But at the same token, America likes to be able to put you in a box. Yeah. If they can't put you in a box, they lose their shit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think biracial love can be the product of bringing us together, but at the same time, some people's offended.
I love it just for the simple fact that, like I said, the culture's the culture. That's not going to change. I just feel like the more diluting that's done, the more interracial relations that take place, it should hopefully one day make it so there's really not much discrimination or hate taking place, because
beautiful. That's
you know
what
I'm saying. Hope that's the wish, that one day, like, you can't hate this man or this woman because you're also not 100 this. You know what I'm saying? You got people in your family that look like them. And that's what I'm hoping.
It should bring us together. Like, for you said something that social media makes us see it more. I think another thing also is we're not closed off like we used to be. Back in the days, you grew up in Haiti or you grew up in Jamaica or you grew up in Brooklyn and stuff like that. People weren't moving away from their town like that. So if you grew up in Flatbush, Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say 20s, 30s, like 40s.
Village mentality. Just your village.
You got a trade at the local trade shop or school, and then you got a job maybe 5 miles from where you grew up with, and then you bought a house maybe another 5 miles from where you grew up with. So you didn't leave out. Social media is like, yo, at one time I was, like online, chatting or getting to know a girl in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? It was young in college on the internet, new to you, stuff like that. But I used to stay up crazy hours talking to her and stuff like that. And I said it to say this. I would have never met this South African girl just growing up in Queens. But the internet opens up the world. Sometimes it opens you up to different races, different cultures. But I feel like we live in a day and age, especially now, where identity of who you, like what set you claim is so important that people will invalidate you. I've had conversations with black women that's like, yo, dope, I think you're beautiful, this and another. Oh, you're gonna find a good black man, you're gonna make a good wife and stuff like that. And then they respect what I'm saying. And then when they saw my wife, they're just like, man, you full of shit. Why am I full of shit?
Why are you promoting that though?
No, don't get it twisted.
If you don't necessarily live by that, so to speak.
No.
You don't need to promote that.
It's a difference between promoting something. I'm all for black love and how you get it. Everyone's not going to have the same experience, right? Every woman that I dated before my wife were like either Black American or Caribbean black, things of the nature. You introduced me to my wife. And we happened to hit it off and have so much interest, and then we wound up getting married. It wasn't like a plight where I was just like, yo, if it ain't white, it ain't right. Yeah. If it ain't...
No, but what I'm saying is you can believe that, and you can be very supportive of black love, but you don't necessarily have to promote it like whoever you was talking to. You can say, oh, yeah, you're going to find yourself a good black man, da-da-da.
No,
you say,
because that's what that person wanted. Good man. No, but that's what that person wanted and came to me about. Because she was disparaging towards black men in this and nature, and I was just like,
and she was having trouble finding it. So you could have just been like, well, maybe you just should focus on finding a good man who will love you and not put that stipulation on it.
That's true.
I understand there are a lot of people out there like that. More women than anything. They want themselves a black man.
In college and in high school, whatever, and all that, I must met a lot of white girls. Like. A lot of them. My man said that. A lot of girls. But in my spirit, in my heart, I always knew I was gonna marry a black woman. That's just me. Not because it was my, so perfect. I just knew. I'm like, you know what? I was gonna marry a black woman.
But he knew it.
Like I always tell the story, and I hate to be repetitive. Like I wanted the Cosby Show. I wanted to marry like a Claire Huxtable and get a brown song and stuff. It didn't happen to me. I always say that you gotta find love on how you find love. I wouldn't have put the stipulation like, God forbid me and my wife don't work out. Then now all I'm just dating Puerto Rican or white girl. I'm gonna date however love comes to me.
I don't think you could put the limitation on that on who it is that bonds with you the most. So you say you always knew, but none of those women you came across like made you think like, yo, she could be the one. Like you didn't.
You know what?
Or you just what you was completely shut off to giving them a shot.
At the time, more like the brain and the mindset changes every couple of years. It's different. Like whatever. So
you grow.
Totally not the same person I'm in my 30s, in my 20s. Like in my 20s, when it comes to like dealing with women, first I was a savage, straight savage. You know what I mean? Like whatever. But you know, you're right. I'm not sure about what you're trying to say. You're right. I don't know, but
one could have came around.
Yeah, you're right.
So
I'm not sure. It just
let me
fell
ask
into the right hands.
The next question with the biracial love, because we're coming close to the end. Why do we treat biracial people based on which culture they are more comfortable with? Like, for instance, a half black, half white, if the dude is more comfortable with his white side, we kind of chastise them. If they're more comfortable with their black side, we embrace them and you know, we don't let them kind of assimilate to what they're more comfortable with.
I don't know. With that, I just deal with people accordingly.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, I don't really care, black, white, whatever. I deal with people accordingly. Like, you know, if the person is mixed, whatever.
For instance, Obama and Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
We kind of more, even though we embraced Tiger Woods because he was prominent in golf and he kind of gave us the lane.
Yeah.
But we love Obama like with no limitation.
I mean, like I said, I deal with people accordingly, but I get what you're saying. Like the African American community is like that's us. That's ours. When it came to Tiger Woods, we like, you know, like I get what you're saying about like we embraced like we got a black president. Like with Tiger Woods, we never not said that he wasn't a black golfer, but we were just like that's Tiger Woods. It's never just a Tiger Woods, right? Yeah. But like I deal with people accordingly, man. White, black, it doesn't matter to me.
Whatever they're comfortable with, because they're the person that has to choose. So my thing is, I'm going by
the energy you give me.
Yeah, the energy you give me, the vibe you give me, what's comfortable to you. You know what I mean? I can't so much empathize with them because I don't know what it's like. But to have that both sides thing, where you can cater to both sides. You have, you know what I mean? And I'm sure it's a delicate balance. All I know is, in this society, you got to drop a black blood in you.
You black.
You black.
So let me ask the last question on this topic. It's kind of deep, but can you love your race and still find love outside of your race?
Absolutely.
100%.
I agree, but
100%.
some people like Dr. Umar and some of these women, you don't understand. I've had my soul crushed, thinking that I'm bonding with someone, giving them good advice, like, oh, this motherfucker spitting, and they completely invalidated me, going behind my back and say like, yo, is more white for white? I can't mess with him because of that. It hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Because don't get it twisted. I love being black. I would never stop love being black. You know, I'm married to a Puerto Rican woman. To me, I'm not going to put a Puerto Rican person and tell them like, oh, you black too because of the history of how races was mixed. I'll let you identify how you choose to identify. But to me, it's just like, how could I not still love my race? I'm always going to be a black man. My mother's a black man. My
mother's
sister,
a black woman.
Yeah, sorry. Obviously, my mother's not a black man, and she had me.
What the hell?
With the non-binary, you know, but that's a slip of tongue. But you know, my mother's a black woman. My sister's a black woman. My niece is a black woman and stuff like that. My aunts, all these beautiful people I love. I love seeing black women, black men be successful. I don't have no inclination. I found love in a Puerto Rican woman. That's where I found love. I was looking for love just like everybody else was looking for love, and that's how love found me. I don't want to sit there and say that we should go out there and just, you know, say if someone's not married to a black person, then they're not for the culture. They can still be for the culture. They found love elsewhere. My actions, how I represent myself, how I speak out on behalf of my people, how I praise my people should be how you identify how I love the person. So what do you guys think? And we can close out the conversation.
Absolutely. Like I said, love doesn't have a face. Love doesn't have a culture, creed. That's not what dictates, you know, who you are in love with. You know, who makes you feel that kind of way, no matter, you know what I mean, what race they are. You can't dictate. Oh, that's why I understand a preference. Like, you may think you will bond with somebody who's more like you. They can relate to your struggle more, similar culture, similar color, whatever. But you can't say that's how it should be for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is not that tribal mentality, because that's what it is. Like, you with this tribe, you got to stay in this tribe. you got to be with somebody in this tribe. It's different. It's different nowadays. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So Cliff, close this out.
No, I just think like you said, you love who you love. You still could be for the culture and love somebody outside of who's not African American or black. Because at the end of the day, like a good person's a good person. You understand? So it doesn't matter race, what you were born. You can still love your race and still meet a good person that's outside, you know? And sometimes the dynamics is different. So you might be attracted to that. They might be showing you something that you've never seen before, and you just got in love with that. Wow, she's opening my eyes to different something. That's why a lot of times, you know, you find athletes sometimes they wait with more up to. It's not because they just they saying no, the sister's gonna take my money. It's because when they got to college, they experience all these new things, and they're like, wow, this girl just genuinely loves me. You know what I mean? She's not giving me. I'm not dissing my sister. She's not giving me the backlash of certain things are making me feel this way, and that's why they end up marrying that person.
You find you marry sometimes people with common interests, and sometimes the person with that common interest don't look like you. Last thing I want to say is to sum it up is, biracial love is not a problem that we have in this country. It's a shift and change that the world's going through, and we have to embrace it. I don't think we're gonna lose the black culture. I don't think white culture or other cultures are going to be lost, but we're going to have a development of a new culture of mixed people, of mixed cultures, bicultural people. Right? Let's move past bi-race and just bicultural people. And now we're going to have multiple cultures. You're going to have Haitian Puerto Ricans. You're going to have, you know, southern, north, white, black people mixed together, mixing cultures. So that was another good
Chinese Jamaicans.
Chinese Jamaicans. That's the thing too. You know what I'm saying? So that's another good episode of Views from the Friend Zone. Thank you guys for listening. Do you guys want to do any shout outs before we head out?
Just want to show love to all our fans and supporters. Please keep supporting us. You know what I mean? We're gonna try to keep getting better and better every day. We love y'all.
Just shout out to everybody who's working hard and just staying safe.
Yeah. I wanted to give a shout out to all our listeners all over the world. We have a lot of presence of people in all different countries. Shout out to our UK listeners. Happy Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day in UK.
Day in UK?
Yeah.
Oh,
so shout out to everyone there. Shout out to all the beautiful, hardworking women across the world. It's Women's Month. We want to give props to all the women. Without you, I think we would have destroyed the world already. Women keep us balanced. You guys, you know, provide creation into this world. You bring life into this world. So I want to shout out to all the women. Happy Women Month. And we out. Peace.
Views.
Views from the friend zone, it's your time. We giving you real talk, so stay on your grind. We just trying to laugh and have a good time. We dropping the juice so that all our people can shine. Views from the friend zone, it's your time. We giving you real talk, so stay on your grind. We just trying to laugh and have a good time. We dropping the juice so that all our people